Well, Adam Silver, who's the NBA commissioner, has just announced that from now on, the league will no longer use the word owner to describe those who own NBA franchises. Those companies now can't be owned. They'll be run by governors, since the concept of owning a team is supposedly disrespectful because the league has so many black players. Huh. Does that make sense? Doesn't matter. Al Sharpton's happy with it. Watch.
I think that it is understandable given the history of the country, and many of the NBA players are descendants of people that were enslaved. When we hear the term owner, it's a much different connotation than other people, because some of us have now done our ancestral research and found out our great-grandparents and grandparents did have owners.
No word on how much money Sharpton is getting from the NBA. Willing to bet money, it's quite a bit. We don't know. Lawrence Jones, though, is the editor-in-chief of CampusReform.com, and he joins us tonight. Lawrence, thanks a lot for coming on. So, thanks, NBA players, some of the richest people in America, now we're finding out are actually oppressed by the term owner. Do you think not using the term owner will make this a much better country?
No, it's not going to make this a better country. I think most people, reasonable people, will understand that people that put in the legwork, buy shares in companies, become the owner of these companies. I mean, we're talent just like NBA players, and we have ownership at Fox News. It's just part of what comes when you work for another company. I would like to quote Tyler Perry. He says, "Own your own business, own your own way." Many of these players have their own businesses that they call themselves the owners because they put all the money in, and they should. But I think this goes to the other national conversation. A lot of these players want black owners, and there should be, but you got to put in the work in. And I think there's a lot of rich black folks that are willing to buy these teams. Hell, I want to be an owner of an NBA team one day, and I think that's where the conversation needs to go, not this stupid conversation to suggest that just because you own a brand, which is what the NBA is saying, they own the copyright of the logos, the franchise, and they pay players to go out there because of their talent and ability, and these players exercise great judgment by hiring agents to negotiate hefty contracts, as they should. So this is not a slave term. This is just a basic business term.
Well, of course. They own a company with employees. That's not the same as slavery, in which people aren't paid and human beings are owned, and that's why it's immoral. It's the opposite, of course, of slavery. They're being paid for their work. So why wouldn't the NBA owners be brave enough to stand up to this nonsense and say, knock it off? This is a company. I own the company.
Well, because, again, this just shows you the amount of influence that players have on that. I mean, can you, let's just go back historically. Can you imagine slaves having that ability to go tell the masters on the plantation that they couldn't do that? That's how ridiculous the analogy to slavery that it is. These players, again, like I said, they have a lot of influence. They have millions of dollar contracts. And again, if the argument is for black ownership, I'm all for it. But that's not the argument here. This is political correctness gone wild.
That's not the argument.
Yeah.
It's totally nuts. Lawrence, great to see you tonight. Thank you for that.
Thanks, brother.